One of the requests that we've had from our client is to add a little more detail to one of the buildings by putting a single large window in the upper front wall of the building. We're going to use the graphite modeling tools in the sub-object mode and learn a few new tools. By now you should be familiar with how to open a file. So open the file Chapter 3 Windows01.max. Once the file opens, you'll see the town located on the landscape. We want to isolate Building 03. Click Select by Name in the main toolbar. In the Select From Scene dialog, choose the Building 3 object, and then click OK to select it. In the Perspective viewport, press Alt-Q to isolate the building. Then, in the lower right of the interface, click Zoom Extents All to zoom all the viewports to the building. You may have to click this more than once. Now, select the building and press Alt-W to maximize the perspective viewport so that we may work more closely with our model. To make it easier to do sub-object editing on an editable poly object, move your cursor to the upper left of the viewport, click on the Viewport Shading menu option, and choose Edged Faces from the drop-down. This tells 3ds Max to display all of the visible polygon edges in your model, as well as the shaded geometry, and that makes it easier to edit our model. We'll zoom in on the front portion of the building. We're going to place the window in the middle of the wall in the upper portion of the front of the building. The size of the window at this point is not an issue. We just want to build in a little bit of extra detail. Initially, we're going to work in the sub-object edges level. Click the Modify panel. The Graphite Modeling Tools Contextual tab is only available when you're in the Modify panel with the Editable Poly selected. From the Polygon Modeling panel, click on the Sub-Object Edge option. In the viewport, on the front wall of the building, click on the top horizontal edge, then press Ctrl and click on the bottom horizontal edge. Now we have the two long horizontal edges of our front wall selected. Here's where the difference lies in the editable poly as compared to the editable mesh object. From the Graphite Modeling Tools Contextual tab, click Loops, then select Connect Settings from the Connect drop-down tool. That will open up the caddy in the viewport. You can move the caddy around to get it out of the way if you want to. Right now, it's using one new segment to connect the center of the two selected edges from the middle of the top edge to the middle of the bottom edge. In the caddy, we can increase the number of segments by clicking and dragging the arrow. We can increase it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, however many segments you need to put in for your particular modeling requirements. You'll see that it spaces the new segments equally, connecting the currently selected edges. We only want 2, so either scroll the spinner until the value reaches 2, or you can type 2 in the spinner box. With this type of editing, we get to see what the results will be before we commit to them. The way we commit our edits is to click on the green plus in the caddy, which is the Apply and Continue command that allows us to continue adding edges. We have connected and created 2 new vertical edges, which will define the boundaries for our window frame. Now we need to connect these 2 edges. Since we decided to apply and continue with the Connect tool, you should see 2 horizontal edges now connecting between our vertical edges. Commit this edit by clicking the check on the caddy. Right now the window is a little bit narrow, so let's adjust the height. Click on only the top new horizontal edge. Then, in the main toolbar, click the Select and Move tool. We want to make sure that we restrict the movement only to the Z-axis. So make sure you pick right on top of the Z-axis of the gizmo, and it will highlight yellow. Now click and drag up to move the top edge up a little bit. Remember, this is not being created to any specific size. We just want to create a slightly larger window opening. Once you've completed that, exit the subobject mode by clicking on the Edge subobject in the Graphite Modeling Tools. Let's increment this to a new file name so that we have this current scene that we can come back to if we make a mistake and need to restart from this model. Click the Application button, then click Save As. Then click the plus to increment to Chapter 3 Windows 02.max. If a file already exists, go ahead and overwrite it. We've worked at the edge level to create new edges. We've created new geometry and moved it to exactly where we want it.